Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Xjaws, and today I have a tactical nuke without kill streaks using the G18 Akimbos, running around, rushing almost the entire time, and I'm not using claymores. So it was quite a challenge, but all in the name of making an entertaining video for you guys to watch. Thought you guys would find it fun to watch, a nuke without kill streaks where it isn't somebody sitting in a corner of a room with a silenced gun with claymores, more something along the rushing route of things. So just keep in mind that this isn't really a tutorial type informational video. It's more along the lines of just me going around having fun and trying to make an impressive video. And although I wouldn't recommend most people go out and try and get a tactical nuke without kill streaks with the Akimbo G18s, it is a great idea to just switch up your guns, switch up your perks and stuff like that, and mess around in this game. Because I think when most people think of doing something weird in Modern Warfare 2 or maybe challenging themselves like I'm doing in this game, they usually think of stuff like only knifing or something like that. But just putting on an F2000 with ACOG or an Akimbo secondary can be a lot of fun, and it can switch things up, freshen up Modern Warfare 2, and like I said, create more of a challenge. And that's one of the reasons why I still like to play Modern Warfare 2, is because of little stuff like this. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, I think I want to talk about the perks that I'm using in this game, because they're a little bit more important than you may think. So the first one, pretty much a staple for like 99% of all kill streak lists or no kill streak tactical nukes, and that's Scavenger. Scavenger is a really important perk whenever you're going for tactical nukes without kill streaks, especially for those people who like to plant a lot of claymores. But the reason why it's especially important for me is because, one, there's not going to be a lot of people using G18s at all, so I'm going to have to depend on my ammo that I have to get kills. And also, I didn't want to make this video, I didn't want to title it Akimbo G18 Tactical Nukes Without Kill Streaks if all I was going to do was get 4 or 5 kills with the Akimbo G18s and then switch to whatever gun I had to pick up. I just didn't think that would be fair to you guys, so I wanted to use Scavenger. That way I could hold on to these things for the entire game and get all 25 kills with my Akimbo G18s. So I guess that's why it's a little important there. Now the second perk is a little bit more complicated than you may think. Obviously I went with something simple, stopping power, but for the most part, for anybody who's using the G18s on their class more as a secondary, I wouldn't recommend stopping power. Now, stopping power is a universally good perk, and it's going to affect every single gun in the game to some degree. It's going to affect it by 40%. I think it adds 40% damage to each of your bullets, which means that it's going to help you out. But if you think about it, a gun that has a slow rate of fire is going to be helped out a lot more by stopping power than a gun with a high rate of fire. The reason being is because if you're already pumping out ammo really fast into your enemy, being able to have that extra bullet damage really isn't going to come in handy as much, because you already have a very high rate of fire and a very low rate of killing people with your guns. Now when you add Akimbo into that whole equation, in this case I'm using a gun with a very high rate of fire, the G18, and then I put Akimbo on it, so I've got 2 of them. The stopping power just really isn't that much of a necessity on it if you're using it as a secondary. But that's the whole point of why I am using it, is because I'm using my G18s as a primary, and I'm going to run into a lot of long range encounters, and subsequently I'm going to want stopping power. When I have those really long range encounters, or just even medium range encounters, and I'm only going to be able to connect maybe 2 or 3 bullets, I want to make them count, and I want them to kill the enemy. So that's going to bring me to my final perk, or my final perk and my final point. I'm using steady aim because even though, just because Akimbo weapons in general are affected and benefited by steady aim doesn't mean that the G18s are any different. They're going to be affected even more so, I would say, because of what I talked about with the whole stopping power thing. I really need to hit these guys because these are fairly weak guns. They just have a high rate of fire, so stopping power and steady aim, definitely very important. So I know it took a long time to explain a pretty simple perk setup, but it's a little bit more in depth because of the gun that I'm using. So like I said, my general tactic for this tactical nuke without kill streaks was to rush around. I wanted to make it entertaining, and what I did was I stayed around a lot of buildings, and Favela, I have to be honest, was one of the easier maps for me to have achieved this on, simply because of the fact that the Akimbo G18s are a close range map, and most of my encounters, not all, but most of my encounters are going to be close range, and I can't lie, that definitely benefited me out a lot. So right there, I actually got the tactical nuke and called it in right away, or almost right away, And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is a tactical nuke without kill streaks with the Akimbo G18s on favela. Please check out my channel. There will be a link on your screen.